Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV. Happy New Year. Okay, before we get into anything that has to do with going and looking forward, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything. For the past 2 years, I've had this channel, or close to 2 years, I've had this channel, and you guys have been ridiculously supportive, and I thank you for that. So let's get into everything that I'm talking about today, and we'll discuss future outlooks in a minute. India has a unique take on taxation for crypto. And what they're doing is they're saying you've got a 30% tax on crypto. And on top of that, you have a 4% cess. And that 4% cess tax, they'll use that for a specific use case or a specific reason. And that's cool. But wow, that's a huge hit. That's a huge hit. The reason why I'm bringing that up, it's only India right now. But I'm bringing it up because there are going to be a lot of governments around the world that are going to be thinking about the same exact process, right? So, I tell my kids all the time, especially my son, since he owns so many stores, pay your taxes. Pay your taxes so that you don't get looked into, whether you owe tax money or whatever it is, but pay your taxes. Do your taxes, pay your taxes. If you're making money, if you're blessed enough to be making money, pay your taxes. It avoids scrutiny and all those other things. Something else that I tell them is you can take steps to do tax avoidance. The more money that you make, the more ways you can actually avoid taxes. That's just a fact in the United States. That said, I want you to pay attention to the goings on that are going on around the world with regard to taxation of crypto, because that's going to have a huge effect as we move forward. Next up, the Bitcoin spot ETFs, yes, they're going to be approved. A lot of phone calls have been made. A lot of meetings have been going on. All these different things. Calls could happen as soon as tomorrow. We'll see. I reported previously that you had a couple of listings that have been seen. That's all in process, right? That's all in the process. With regard to liquidity issues, manipulation, and all those other things that people are thinking about with regard to what can happen with Bitcoin spot ETF approvals, let's dispel that right now. Bitcoin is got to be the most secure thing you could possibly think of. I was having a conversation with somebody on one of the other platforms, and because my primary platform obviously is growmybag.tv. But I was having a conversation with somebody on one of the other platforms, and they were like, there's so much going on. There's just so many issues and blah, blah, blah. What happens when this hits? I was like, relax, right? Bitcoin can be split, all that stuff. Yes, there's a finite amount. There are a lot of people that own a lot. Looking at MicroStrategy, there are a lot of companies and entities that are looking to purchase more. There's only so much in circulation. I think right now what's in circulation is about 90 plus percent. It's not 100 yet, but it will be soon. Bitcoin is a different coin. That's why everything else is called an altcoin. Bitcoin is the coin. That means the use case for Bitcoin is specific, right? It's a great store of value. So let's pay attention to that. And then start to dive into each one of the use cases for each one of the coins that we have that are out there. Somebody asked me if I want to do a video on all the coins that I follow and pay attention to. Not necessarily all the coins that I invest in, but all the coins that I follow in terms of their projects, what they're doing, how they're doing, that kind of stuff. And then what coins, are moved off the list and what coins I have put on that list. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that video. Just not today. It's a bit much. VanEck, don't know how to pronounce this person's name. Gabor Gurbacs, saying there's huge long-term potential and short-term impact for Bitcoin spot ETFs, and I agree. Just like with any other investment vehicle, I'm going to have to do my research on what those impacts are going to be in the long run, right? Bitcoin is not going to be equivalent ever to a credit card transaction. You have too many people that are building upon it and doing things upon it, and I don't think it is ever going to get that fast. That said, I still think it's an excellent. It is the coin, and I do put money into that, right? Next up, Tellor, TRB. I don't know if it's a rug pull. Wouldn't be able to say exactly, but there was a huge spike from down in the 200s all the way up to the 600s and then back down again. Might not be a rug pull, but it was definitely manipulation going on there. Nothing like that happens, right? You can see it gradually, grow and then, fall back down, because of different things that go on, macro events, those kinds of things. But you had the liquidation of about $73 million go on, right? So there's something to pay attention to there. This is why I tell people, pay attention to the projects that you're investing in. When you buy coins, you are saying, I am investing in this project. At least that's how I look at it. So if I'm putting my money in, I'm looking to see that, things are going to happen with the project. I'm also looking at the people, and I've said this before, I look at the people that are involved with the project. I look at the community around the project. I look at all those different things. I look at the kind of press releases the project is putting out. Because if these press releases are, make me think, even an inkling that they're gearing toward a rug pull, right? Right? If I keep seeing the same stories, they're not really stories when they're exact same stories. I pay attention to who's carrying those stories, right? I pay attention to the story. Okay. And then I make my decision on whether or not I should be following that particular coin. And this one had a massive rug pull, and it's not cool. Like I said, over $73 million was liquidated. Something else that caught my attention, the 2024 outlook for Ethereum was put out by Vitalik Buterin. Great guy, really, really smart. And he's saying, listen, we really want to get to 100,000 transactions per second. I would be amazed. I would be thankful, and I hope it happens. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but if somebody can figure it out, I think it's going to be him for Ethereum. So I'm paying attention to that. You have several things that are going on right now, right? That have actually, let's rewind. Let's look backwards for a couple of minutes. You had several things that happened in the past that we should be paying attention to, right? You had the big bank collapses, Silicon Valley Bank, to name the biggest one that affects our space. You had the European Union's MiCA regulation that happened, and that's still having an effect. A lot of other countries around the world are looking at how they're doing things. I'm just telling you that, there are macro events that we should be paying attention to around the world. There was the emergence of SocialFi. AI technologies, obviously, the tokenization of assets by traditional financial institutions. And I don't think people talk about that enough. That in and of itself is a huge, huge macro event. And it's only going to get bigger. Take that in for a minute. And let it wash over you. Kind of calculate that in your head. It's going to get bigger. The fractionalization of this, the easier trading and more security of that, all because of blockchain and other Web3 technologies. We should be paying attention. But tokenization of assets is huge. Advancements in the Bitcoin blockchain, BRC20 developments, that kind of stuff, huge, huge. My friend Elise for Botanics, you should be looking at her. She's her and her team are actually doing a lot of things in that space. The evolution of Ethereum and side chains and L1s and L2s like Polygon in that space, those upgrades, their merge and their switch in their network, the proof of stake, also huge. We should be paying attention to a lot of things that happened back then because they laid the groundwork for what's going to happen in 2024. Whether we choose to believe it or not, 2024 is poised to be the most growth-laden year for crypto that we've probably ever seen. And yes, I'm going on the record as saying that. And here's why. Tokenization is going to grow. I told a story a few weeks ago, on the channel, that I was consulting a company, and they're huge real estate investment trust. And I told them about how a South American country had started doing fractionalized REITs, fractionalized real estate, that kind of thing. And I said, when are you guys going to catch up? Because that's going to be big. And, they're actually thinking about it. And I told them, I said, it's going to be big. You don't want to be out there late. So we should be looking forward. Because they had been wondering, like, how would, crypto or blockchain affect our business, blah, blah, blah. They're a long-term kind of business. That's how. The tokenization of assets is going to be huge. DeFi is going to be huge. SocialFi is going to be huge. Gaming in the web, in the metaverse, going to be huge. And it's not going to be just gaming. You're going to see business meetings happen like that. You're going to see conventions happen in that kind of space. The world will get bigger as it gets smaller, is what I'm saying. And we should be paying attention to not just the coins that are out there, but the technologies that are in use, which is why I keep telling people, you have to look at crypto, you have to look at stocks, options, bonds, businesses, business practices, operational investments. You have to be looking at all of those things, because there are so many things that can affect your bag as you continue to make your investments. And that's what I'm paying attention to. So as I look forward to 2024, I think 2025 is going to be huge, but I think 2025 will be huge because of this huge growth potential that exists in 2024. So please do your research, pay attention to what's out there, and come on over to Grow My Bag TV so we can have longer and larger and better conversations and learn from each other over there. All right. This is Eddie J on crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you have a good one this year. Happy New Year.